There we go. All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Game Time Podcast. We are live on Instagram, X, and YouTube. We've got the full crew here today, but we are also joined by the head coach of IU East men's basketball, Coach Mark Hester, in the building. Coach, great to have you back on the show. Last time you were here, we were doing this on Zoom. Now we've got a more cleaner look, so it's great to have you back on for this episode.
It's great to be back, man. I'm glad you guys got to step up and, excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show. Before we get started, I want to give a big thank you to Matt Gaddis, your local State Farm agent. If you need any insurance help, make sure you do get in touch with Matt Gaddis. Fellas, I'm going to edit the YouTube so that way it looks a little better, the thumbnail and the title. So I will throw it to Daryl to start us off with. We're going to start with college football, and then we'll get into IU East, and we have a little time on the back half. We'll talk about NBA a little bit, but we start with the college football slate. Daryl, I'll let you start us off.
Actually, we've got a guest here, not just a guest, but a special guest, Mr. Mark Hester. I would love for Coach Hester to start off by IU East first, man. He's been my texting partner since May, and I want to defer to him. That's my guy, man. So, Coach, let's hear it. It's summertime. I know you've been doing those workouts we talked about, so I want to hear that first, man.
Summertime, man. It's season's here.
Like right, that's what I'm saying. We're talking about the workouts in the summer, so yeah.
It's we're going tonight. Will be practice 23 tonight. So we're right in the middle of it. Like it's so it's coming at us like a freight train, And while we had a great summer, getting guys acclimated to the way we do things and kind of putting some of this building blocks in at the the foundational stuff that we do, and we've been building on it for the last several practices. And it's crazy, we're not going to get a look against anybody else this year except for our alumni game that we had, and that scares me as a coach, because when that first, like we were talking about before you got on here, I think the Florida State beating Alabama, first game of the year when you haven't had any scrimmages or anything against anybody else, first time you see somebody else, you don't know how those guys are going to react. So, it's kind of a scary thing that it's screaming at us so fast, but we're excited for it. I'm ready to go.
Good deal, man. Like I told you last season, in the last season, we're going to get our way. We're going to get our way to Richmond. Somehow, some way, we're gonna get out the East and support you, man, and really come alongside and be a partner for IU East basketball, not just because Isaiah's on the podcast as well, but man, you really extended your graces to us last May, I think it was May or whenever it was we were talking. I really appreciate that. Then the texting on the side when we're doing the championship series, man, I was going crazy. You were my counselor.
Too. I was too, though. I don't get to be a fan very much.
Yeah,
that's the crazy thing when you're a coach. You especially when you're just studying it, you don't get to be a fan very often. You're like, everything's a learning experience, and it's kind of still was. But with the Pacers just doing what they did in this era of basketball, to kind of both the Thunder and the Pacers kind of changing the game style a little bit for the league. It was fun to watch, and I kind of got caught up in it from a fan standpoint, and really enjoyed that little bit of a break from just study to relaxing and enjoying it. And then you and I are texting back and forth, and it was pretty funny that we were suffering the same sometimes.
Definitely, for sure. Misery loves company during that time, for sure, right?
Oh, no doubt.
But to that point, Isaiah, you talked about getting in the football. Last 2 weeks ago, I said this was the best college football weekend ever. Well, I'm gonna say it again. This past weekend, you talking about topsy-turvy, upside down, things that you didn't expect again, which is why I love college athletics. You talking about kids that are 18 to 23 or 24 now, not just 18 to 22-year-olds like it used to be. It's so unpredictable. We sat on this panel, and we all agreed that Oregon would beat Indiana, and it wouldn't be a very close game, but we said they'd beat them. I looked at that game until the middle of the beginning of the fourth quarter. I had to go to Pacer game last night. To me, it looked like the stronger, more powerful team was in red and white, not in green. And that really shocked me. I hadn't paid much attention to Indiana like that. Yeah, granted, we're here, but I saw that defensive line look like the 2016 Alabama Crimson Tide. When they have 3 first rounders on that defensive line. They looked really good. And I don't know, maybe Oregon underestimated them. I don't think so, with Dan Lanning being the coach. Really proud of the way the Hoosiers played. And their coach backed up everything he has said to this point about, hey, I'm coming, right? I know Deion said that, and that kind of fizzled out. But it looked like Kurt is meaning what he's saying, and those boys ready to play. I talked about Mendoza. I think Mac had asked me, who would I take Mendoza at this point over Ty Simpson. I said at this point I've seen Ty Simpson more, so I would take Ty.
I think I asked you that.
Mac asked me that 2 weeks
ago.
He
did? Okay.
Yeah. Right now, when seeing Mendoza after he threw that pick and how he came back, I'll give Mendoza the edge. I'm not saying this leaps and bounds. He's a number 1 pick in the next year's draft, but I would take Mendoza right now. That may change in 2 weeks, though.
Well, that was the conversation on Twitter. It was like, congrats to Mendoza. He just locked up being the number 1 overall pick after today. We'll see how that goes.
Here you go.
We'll see how that goes. I love mock drafts. Like I said last week, I'm a mock draft junkie. All I do is look at mock drafts. At this point, he's not going to fall out of the top 10. He'll be in that first round. He continues to play like that, and the way he is playing at IU. Ramon, your reaction to yesterday's game? I stole a line from Bishop, Hester, where I said, because I heard Bishop say in film, right, we can either be the best of the best or the best of the worst. And I said, this game for IU is going to determine, right, are we the best of the best or are we just the best of the bad in the Big Ten? Ramon, I think they proved yesterday that they're going to be a contender this year. Now, will they win the Big Ten title against Ohio State? That is too far down the line to predict, but your thoughts on their win yesterday?
Let me. I'm about to pull up and read to you guys something that a wise man put on Facebook, because Facebook got the best information. All right. Some wise man status says the Hoosiers have officially taken a seat at the big boy table. Welcome to the Buckeye Invitational.
You said wise or biased, man? I can remember what you said. Wise or biased?
You know what I said. It's the Buckeye Invitational.
You cut out a little bit. I wasn't for sure. I just want to make sure I'm clear.
The Hoosiers are playing well, and they're a good team, but this is the Buckeye Invitational. You're doing well, and I'm happy you're here, but you are a co-star. And the stars are in Columbus. OHIO.
Okay. Hester, what are your thoughts on yesterday's game?
Well, I mean, first of all, I could care less about the Ohio State Buckeyes. But, I mean, I think that's I can't express strongly enough my disdain for those guys over there in Columbus that are exactly 100 miles from where I sit. But I thought yesterday, after that pick six, I thought IU as a whole showed some big time character. Coming back and not letting that bother them. They went on a next play mentality and they closed it out. We talk with our guys all the time. You have to learn how to make those types of winning plays down the stretch of games to be able to win big ones like that. And to this point, I mean, it shows. IU's never been able to go on the road and close those types of games out and hardly stay in them, but just close them out. And they did all of the above yesterday. And I think that's a huge statement for where they are character-wise as a team. And when all things are equal and the talent's the same, which at each level it's basically the same. It comes down to what your character made of, and I think they showed a lot of character. And it's a learned thing to be able to go on the road in those types of environments against a team that is also really, really good and execute better than they do. And I think that's a step in the right direction, if you're asking me. So, I mean, now, are they national championship worthy yet? You got to do something more than once to prove something to me, Again, how good is Oregon? We'll have to find out, because Penn State is is showing to not be that tough of a win. So it's going to play out. So you just watch it and see. I don't even know who IU has coming up in their schedule. Do they have to?
They got like Maryland, Rutgers,
Penn State, but that doesn't even matter
Michigan
anymore.
State, Penn State.
Well, it does matter because if they lay an egg against Penn State, all the bravado that the Hoosier faithful is talking about is going to melt away. And then what will happen is if Oregon wins out, Indiana's not in the Big Ten championship game. So it absolutely matters.
Yeah.
They've got to know. That's what we talked about before. Remember, Ramon, you and I were talking. I said it's a good start. Starting is great, but you got to close the deal. Closing the deal means kicking the shit out of Penn State. It just does. Yep. You know, they have to at this point.
I don't know if you were there in the classroom. I said this the other day when I was giving one of my talks in the classroom. Complacency leads to mistakes, you know, and that's kind of what you're talking about. They start feeling themselves. Hey, we're this. You start doing that. That's how you slip up and get beat by Penn State or Butwell, you know, because the talent's going to be equal. You've got to maintain your focus. And again, it's a learned thing when you are expected to be good and you can still go out and execute at a high level and grow through each one of those games. And that's something that you got to prove, you know what I mean? The second you start, like these are 18 to 24-year-old kids, you know, and you don't know where their mind's at that day. So you've got to, as somebody who makes a living off of those 18 to 24-year-old kids, it's a guessing game on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You got a 3-game stretch that could be dangerous. But doesn't look like it's dangerous. They got UCLA, who's kind of hot right now, especially offensively. Yeah. They got Maryland, who's physically tough, offense and defense. Then they got to go to Penn State. And I believe that at that point, James Franklin will be fighting for his life.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. That could be a 3 games that could be really, really tough or tricky for those guys.
I mean, just an insane day of college football, right? I'm looking at it now. Oregon lost, Oklahoma, number 6 Oklahoma lost, number 14 Missouri lost, number 15 Michigan lost, number 17 Illinois, number 22 Ohio State, and number 25 Florida State. All those teams fall yesterday. I think the second biggest one out of this was probably Oklahoma, right? Because I think if you asked someone a couple days ago, I think they think Oklahoma would win this game. Obviously, Mateer didn't play, correct?
No, he played.
No, he did.
He did?
He played.
Okay.
No excuses. Don't want to hear it. If you playing, you help.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I think a lot of people thought Oklahoma was going to win this game, but it seemed like Arch came to form in this game, found his mojo. But can they continue on? Because it's only going to get worse for Texas what I mean by that is the schedule. The schedule is only going to get harder. It's only going to get tougher as we get down the road, and they're going to play Texas A&M, and I think that's really one of the biggest games for them because it wasn't close last year, but that A&M team, we had a conversation about it a couple weeks ago, Daryl. That has looked like the best SEC team thus far. Obviously, Ole Miss is still undefeated, and they're ranked higher than them, but
consistent.
SEC's a bloodbath right now, and then obviously Bama got the win over Missouri as well. What other games caught your interest yesterday? What team are you impressed by after yesterday?
A lot of games that caught my interest. I mean, highly competitive, right? Mm-hmm. We didn't see Iowa State getting beat like that. We could go down the path. This could be a 3-hour segment today for college football. How excited I was for yesterday. You know, the thing what you just said, though, Isaiah, you talk about a bloodbath. And as we talked about, and Ramon, we all talked about this as the season goes. We know the cream rises top, and we know the top is OH.
IO.
Right. But with that said, all those second-tier teams in schools, it's shaking up, man. Every week. We had 5 teams, I think, in the top 15 yesterday lose. You know, it's gonna be topsy-turvy. What I liked about yesterday, and I try not to go ham, on Bama. What I saw yesterday with Bama and Missouri was this: Missouri came down first drive of the game, kicked them right in the teeth. Bama gets the ball. It's a 3rd and 10. The whole first 6 minutes, Missouri players are woofing and jumping up and down and all fired up, right? Bama's got a 3rd and 10. They stop him. And Zion, I forget his last name, number 9 from Missouri, stands over a running back, talks to him, receiver, talks to him, does the I showed you, 15-yard unsportsmanlike. Bama goes down, scores a touchdown, right? They could have gotten off the field right then and there, but it's still one of these things about these college players. It's been a point of emphasis in football. If you stand over a player, it is going to be called taunting, period.
Daryl, give me just a second. Go ahead. I'm going to share my screen.
You're like you're looking for somebody, man.
No, I just saw something. I'm going to share my screen because they just dropped
while he's looking for that.
They just dropped the AP poll. That's why.
While he's looking for that, I was gonna say this is what I talk about when everything's equal. You don't go out and win games, you lose them, and that's one of those plays with that championship character that you lose. That's you got a chance to get off the field and get your offense back on, and you do something that is entirely a controllable thing, right? It's you got to control your controllables, and you've got to be aware of situations. And I know you get emotional and things happen, but you've got to be able to win a championship or play at a championship level, because you've got to behave and act like one before you win one. Yeah, and that's not championship behavior.
Yeah, his name Zion Young is his name, and and Isaiah, I know you love the pre-draft stuff. He's a projected number 1 pick, first round pick, and this young man, basically for me, as I liked what he did as a Bama fan, because it gave him another chance, and they took advantage of that chance. And Coach, I was going to ask you both, you and Ramon, what's going on, right? Are we redirecting these players in practice as they're going to class? I know Coach is a little bigger, bigger campus, but are we redirecting these players, or are we just saying, you know what, I don't want to redirect him too much, because if I redirect him too much, he's going to decide to leave? Where are we at with that, fellas?
I think everybody's a different place with that. I personally don't care. I'm going to do what is right over what's not. I mean, the bigger picture is, I don't want to say we're raising these kids, but we are definitely influencing them at a age where they need it the most. In college anyway, and so teaching them, because when they're done here, they got to go out into the world with you, with Ramon, and get out and be a productive citizen. It's that's it. Like, you have to go on into life. And if we're not helping prepare them for that, what are we really doing? I mean, yes, we want to win games, we want to win championships, but also it's kind of that's kind of a byproduct of having great people and having great character. And that's something that people don't understand when we're out recruiting. That's a big thing we're looking for. We're not bringing idiots in here.
Right.
You may have some that you have to kind of tweak, and you have to talk to a little bit more than others. You may have to have some. It's gonna take some work, because none of them are finished products by any means, right? Yeah. But you have to do it. That's our duty as coaches. And it frustrates me so bad, because I know there's a lot out there that they just amass the talent and they let them go do whatever it is they're going to do, because they know that talent is going to be superior, but you're not helping that kid prepare for the rest of their life, because we have them for a short time comparatively. And, I think there is way too much of that, right? From the high school level to the AAU to some colleges, where they are literally terrified that these kids are going to leave, and that's not a great way to build the next generation of people, not just players.
Yeah.
Ramon?
Yeah, I get on top of the kids all the time. I don't care who you are, where you came from, what you do. You know what? Right is right, wrong is wrong. And I tell them all the time. I took a group of kids, athletes, outside the building, and I said, hey, take a look at the building right there. That's protection. Those walls protect you. Things that you do in there, there's going to be people inside the building that's going to coddle you, give you grace and mercy and multiple chances. But when you step outside of this building, all those chances go away. You do something wrong, you're going to be held accountable immediately. All right. So what my job is, just like Coach said, I got to prepare you for when you step out of this building to the world that doesn't protect you like the building does, and understand that there's consequences for every action, whether it's good or bad, positive or negative. There's going to be a consequence for your action.
Yeah, that's just something I was thinking about, and just it's starting to really bother me because Jackson for Bama did it against Florida State in game 1. It's almost like look what I did until you see what you did do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's frustrating.
Like Coach said, and there's a lot of coaches out there who are more looking to build their legacy than the legacy of the kids that they're coaching. You know what? My legacy is going to grow when all you guys' legacy expands. You know, my wins and losses mean nothing. But, you know, if I produce or if I have 8 or 9, 10 or 15 kids come from my
man.
While he froze up, I know where he was going with
super
that.
fathers, incredible husband win.
I was going to say, I know where he was going with
you
that.
know, if
He's talking about, you know, you grow as a coach when your players go be successful after they're done. You know, I got a ton of guys that make way more money than I do and are super successful in their careers. And that's what you ultimately derive success from. You know, it's like as a coach, you did. And we were number 1 in the country, won 28 games in a row. And I can't sleep at night because I knew the season was winding down. There was only a couple games left. And I'm just thinking, are they ready to leave us yet? Like, are they ready to go out into the world? Like, that's what was bothering me at that point, because I'm like, have they overcome enough adversity? Have they been prepared? You know, that was the part that worried me the most, not about whether we were going to win games. I mean, I at that point, you knew the result of that. It was literally about, are they ready to go out into the world? And you know, that this last couple of years, you know, you get them and you have to undo so much, you know, and you pour so much into these guys. You know, Isaiah's been there for a few of our classroom sessions that we've had with our guys, watching film and just talking about stuff. And so he kind of gets an idea, I think, now of how much time we spend talking to them about things. And then people wonder why we get upset when we get in the game and they don't do it. And it's like, you know,
I told you that.
You teach them and teach them and teach them, and you pour into them and pour into them, and you do it different ways. It's not just you're talking to them or you're showing them film. You're doing all the above. You're drawing it. You're painting them pretty pictures, you know, on the board, whatever it is. And it's like just to find some way to reach them, so that because you want them to be successful, you know. And I think that's what people don't understand is that it is all about when you're doing it right. The winning and losing is a byproduct of what you're doing with what you're emphasizing in your program when it comes to their character. And so that's a big thing. And you know, I'm pretty sensitive about that stuff because I think all the fans see and the people that come out is just what happens on the court between the lines on game days. They don't see all of the other stuff and the behind the scenes conversations, the talking to them at 2:00 in the morning when they've had something bad's happened and they've had a problem, and they call you, or you know, I've had to tell our kids that, you know, somebody in there close to them in their family was just killed or died of, you know, because the parent was too scared to tell them, and so they call me and ask me to tell them, you know, or have to share some other type of bad news, or you know, you're there when it, you know, at the end when they realize something they've poured themselves into since they were 6 years old is over. You know, I mean, those are tough things, you know, and people don't see that. All they see is the emotion and stuff when you're out there competing and stuff like that, but they don't see the stuff that goes into that to allow you to do that with these guys.
Good stuff. The world's not going to love them like you're going to love them, right, Coach?
No, and not going to give them second chances. You know, and sometimes I worry about that too, because it's like, you know, the world don't give you a second chance. We're giving you multiple chances. You know, we give you chances to screw it up. And I tell them that all the time because we've got a lot of guys off of this team that are capable of making a living in Europe. Like, definitely capable from a talent perspective. However, you know, there's a lot to learn, you know, and part of it is learning how to listen and follow directions. And it's like they're going to give you one chance over there. And if you don't do it right, they're going to send you on a plane back home and bring somebody else in that will listen and can take what you're drawing up on a clipboard and go out there and execute it one time. Not have to, not say, my bad, coach, I was out of position about 60 feet because I wasn't really paying attention. You know what I mean? Like, those are the things that frustrate us as coaches, not because you screwed it up and you could have lost us the game or you did, but because we know what that means for your future. Right past us, and that's the bigger picture that people don't see. So
no, I would agree with you. Not the AP poll on the screen, but it kind of can give us an idea of what we may see when the AP poll comes out. It's interesting to say the least. I don't know what ESPN is thinking here. I said it to give us an idea, but I don't know about that for sure. When you guys think of what the AP poll could be this week, what are you thinking? Where do you see it landing?
I could care less. It means nothing. This is week 6. It means absolutely nothing. I think either Ramon and I, we were talking on the side, or either myself and Isaiah were saying the poll shouldn't even come out to maybe the first poll, week 6 or week 7. This is just me speaking. This is garbage.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Pure unadulterated garbage. Because so you take that, Isaiah. Now you go back to week 1. Go to week 1. I'm sure you've got, because you're the poll guy and the.
I don't have week 1.
But my point being is, it's upside down.
Yeah.
It just this grinds my gears, man. I'm sorry.
That's partially why I brought it up, just to see the reaction. But I think IU does go to 3rd for sure. I think they go to 3. I think Miami will stay at 2, and then obviously Ohio State will stay at 1 to make sure Ramon is good. Do we have anything else about college football? It seems like we're moving more towards talking about IU East here in the next couple minutes. Is there anything on college football we wanted to continue on? I know we've got another show we're going to do college football on football later today. We've got the Cross Time show with Crossroad Sports, so that's where a lot of our college football conversation will happen. But anything else you guys want to get in about college football?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting if Indiana's number 3.
Yeah,
I just got a funny feeling they're going to be 4.
Who's going to be ahead of them? Ole Miss,
Texas A&M.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But man, that's a big win by Indiana. I think you're right, Ramon. But it also wouldn't surprise me if they put them to 2 because of that type of a win yesterday on a hostile environment. West Coast. Remember when Ohio State went to Washington? Same thing. The difference is we thought Oregon was a destroyer, right? And I wouldn't surprise me that they would be. They were 2. It wouldn't shock me at all.
Man, they love Miami right now, and the quarterback and the coach.
They didn't play. That's the only good thing, right? They didn't play, right?
Yeah.
Did A&M play?
Yeah, they played.
Yeah. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, but to that point, these rain, man, they grinds my gears right now, man.
It's just for you guys to talk about.
As long as the Buckeyes number 1, I don't care who. 25.
He's got no complaints. I think we'll probably. I think we'll still be live when the AP poll comes out. So when it does come out, I'll put it on the screen. We can come back to that.
We really need that.
Yeah, of course we do. Of course.
We need to do a 30-minute segment on just the Buckeyes, man.
Oh
Maybe when we get
you lose your sponsor, you lose viewers. Come on,
Coach,
man.
I'm trying to distance myself from this guy for years. I just can't get rid of him.
Okay, man. I'm just throwing out good ideas, man.
It's an idea, all right. I give you that.
It's definitely an idea. Now, will it be taken into high consideration? I don't know. You got me with the 49ers to tier 3 last week, but I don't know about that one. I want to pivot over. Of course, we do have Coach Hester here today. Of course, to talk about IU East. So, Coach, like he said earlier, I've been to a couple of practices this year. My broadcast partner has helped him on the social media side of things. Coach, when you look at this year, last year you brought in a lot of people from the portal. This year you were able to bring in some freshmen. There's a good mix of old and new on this team. A couple of practices in now, a good amount in now. Talk about the chemistry. Talk about how you feel about this team at this moment in time.
First, since you mentioned it, Nakori Hogue is with us now doing our social media stuff and some other forms of media, because it's what he wants to do and get into. And fortunately, he was able to join us this year full time to do that, and he's doing a phenomenal job. So if you get a chance to follow us on Instagram, he's got some stuff coming out on YouTube. We have a IUE MBB on YouTube now too. That's great to follow. We've got to get to 50 subscribers in order for him to be able to broadcast live from the road when we do when he does games. So if anybody out there can give us a subscribe on that, it'd be great so we can get there. We're only 20 away, so we just started this Wednesday or something like that. So that'll be a big lift. But back to your question, Isaiah. I think we're ahead in some aspects and behind in others. I think we are currently probably where we've been about January from the last couple of years right now, as far as how far ahead. Part of that is because we had 8 returners, which was awesome. That guys wanted to come back and be a part of this again, because in today's day and age, that's rare. And they've accelerated the growth. I think it's allowing us to focus on some stuff that might seem like we're really nitpicking and being, in the minutia of stuff, but that's what it takes to be great. And that's our focus. We're not trying to be out there trying to be good. We're trying to be great. That's our standard, and that's what we're holding them to. In anything, we tell them that all the time about how you do anything is how you do everything. And everything from the details of what they do with us to the details of what they're doing in the classroom and how they're going about presenting themselves out on campus and in the community and stuff like that is huge. And that's stuff that we haven't been able to get to in the last couple of years because we haven't even been able to figure out inner third from outer third of the court. It's been stuff like that. So this has been a refreshing, flashback to the days when we were able to coach a little bit more and not have to continually babysit. But so it's been good.
And I want to talk, obviously there were some coaching changes as well, right? Bishop Smith coming in, one of the best basketball players for IU East of all time, without question. And this coaching staff, and I said it to Nakori. I think bringing in some younger coaches, no offense to Rigby, obviously, and the other coaches that were there, but I think it brought in a good culture change, right? I think Bishop brings a different energy. I think he brings in something that's more relatable to the younger guys, and he knows you very well, right? And I think that's the one thing I've picked up on practice where he's like, hey, I played under the guy for 4 years. If he doesn't trust you, he's not going to play you, right? And I think the energy he has brought, it feels like there's a different type of motivation with this group, and I think Bishop has been a very huge part of that because he was there very recently as well.
Well, I think, the older you get and the more you spend time in certain places, the more probably filtered you get on how you say things to players. And myself and Coach Rigby have both probably gotten a little too filtered because we know there's some sensitivity to stuff on campus and stuff like that where, Bishop comes in and has no filter. And I think that's a good thing. And it's kind of taken mine away a little bit, too, because that's the way it should be. We should be able, we've always been honest with our players. We tell them exactly from the time we recruit them until the time that they leave. We're going to tell you where you stand. We're going to let you know. If anybody says they don't know, they weren't listening, because we are very blunt and honest about it. To the fact, I don't know if you noticed up on the wall, I even put up a depth chart.
No, I was going to ask you about that, right? Because that's something that hadn't been done in the years I've been there.
I've done it. I used to do it back in the day. And
yeah,
it's like, I think, again, the transparency of where do you stand, and if you don't understand why, I mean, one thing from our root stats, the things that we stat in practice that we value, stuff that takes no talent, closing out correctly, keeping people out of the middle, contesting shots, rebounding the right way, being in the right spots off the ball, the things that we value, that we know for 100% certainty gives you the best chance to be successful in this game as a team. And we stat it, and that's up there. So exactly where you stand on how you execute stuff. Then we put a depth chart up there, and we were real about it. We're not taking this guy out and putting you in necessarily in his spot. We're going to move him to a certain different spot and bring, and move just slide pieces around, because you're not capable of being trusted to be out there for any sustainable amount of time and us continue to be successful. And so, and again, we tell them that, and sometimes that seems blunt, and it seems, but it's better them knowing that and hearing it and being able to work on it. And we tell them all the time, we film practice every day. So it's like, you have all this opportunity to show us why we should play, why we should trust you. Because all we're doing as coaches is trying to find reasons not to. Because if we can find the guys, we can't find a reason them not have them out there. Guess what? We're not taking you out, And so it's like, you've got all these chances to do it. Don't continually can put stuff on film that tells us we can't trust you,
Yeah.
So, and fortunately, even the guys that aren't as good at it right now are better than some of the best ones we've had in the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. So that's a good sign, that even they're starting to get it, because we tell them, we're going to win as a team. We're going to lose as a team. Everything affects everybody. So we can't have this group doing this at our standard, and then this group down here not doing it our standard. We need to get everybody to the standard, and if everybody's doing it to the standard, you make it really tough on us to decide who gets those minutes. We did an exercise that I do every year where I give them a scrap piece of paper. I tear off a corner of paper, and I said, write down the number of minutes that would make you happy this year that you get to play. And they all do it. And we do our classroom session at the end. I've had somebody add it up, and how many minutes are able to be played in a college basketball game? There's 200 total minutes, right? That you can play. Well, we had 328 on there is what that added up to. I said, so understand, that's way too many. So it's not going to happen like that. Yeah. What are you putting on that daily film to tell us that you're worthy of getting the minutes that you need to get? Or what are you what are you putting on that film to tell us you can't get those minutes?
Yeah.
And so that's, again, just putting it out there for them. We want transparency. We want them to understand where they stand. And we had one guy that wasn't on the depth chart at all. Name wasn't even mentioned on the depth chart. He's had a couple of ever since we put that on there, he's starting to do more of what we're asking him to do within his role, and he's going to earn his name up there. I got to put one up tonight, and he's going to get his name up there. And that's a step forward in the right direction. And that's what we want them to do. We want them to take this information. You're either gonna fix the things we ask you to do, or you're going to continue, the insanity role of doing the same thing over and over and expecting something different to happen. And so, we just want to be clear about all that stuff with them. So,
and folks, if you scan the QR code, I swapped the QR code out real quick. If you scan the one up in the top left, it'll actually take you to the IU East men's basketball page, Instagram. Make sure to go give them a follow if you scan that QR code. Daryl, Ramon, if you guys got any questions for Coach Hester, floor is yours.
I'll say, man, I got probably like 75, Coach. I'll probably call you this week sometime and catch. I don't want to bore everybody with my minutia.
Yes, you are boring. That is true.
Ramon looking at the mirror again. I can't stand you. I can't stand you.
You see some Isaiah's put up some of the stuff that Corey's done on Instagram, and I mean, he's doing a phenomenal job. I think we had in the last since he took it over the last 2 weeks of August, I think we've had almost 190,000 views. It's been absolutely incredible. So, he's doing a great job.
I just followed.
There you go.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's big time, man.
That's what we do.
Yeah, so make
Can
sure
these guys scroll down a little bit right there?
Go ahead.
So these individual videos of the guys with the backdrop there. We also have a team store through BSN that's open for another week. That if you go on, they're making their pitch why you should go on and buy something, Red Wolf stuff, and put their number on it or name on it, because they get a kickback off of that. That's part of their NIL stuff that they're wanting to do. So it's a chance for them to make a sales pitch, kind of real world business stuff, that elevator speech,
I like that,
so to speak. So some of them are a little more energetic than others.
Yes,
but it's
very true.
But it's fun. And I got one on my son on there. Give my son a shout out. He got to interview Tony Kanaan at the Boys and Girls Club Smart Futures dinner.
Nice.
It's the second time he's gotten to be the interviewer at that. He got to interview Desmond Bain a couple years ago when he was about 11 years old, and now he got to do Tony Kanaan and his wife. Actually, I should say Lauren Kanaan and her husband.
Yeah,
that was the way it was presented at the Smart Futures dinner, which is kind of funny, but it was good. It was good. So
Coach,
a lot of stuff on there.
Coach, go back to that clip, Isaiah. I gotta ask Coach a question real quick. Go back to the Tony Kanaan one.
Okay, go ahead.
Coach, can you share who Tony Kanaan is? Because I bet some of our viewers probably aren't familiar with who Tony Kanaan is.
Tony Kanaan is a very successful and very renowned IndyCar driver. He is retired now, but still is involved with McLaren Motorsports and heavily involved with them, actually. And he came. His wife Lauren is a Cambridge City, Indiana native, which is in Wayne County, and so she was the honoree. But she does stuff for IndyCar. She's in the media. She does a lot of interviews and stuff like that. She, you hear her on stage, you know why. I mean, she's very polished and stuff like that. And then like that. Tony came with her, and he was kind of the entertainment section. He was a funny dude. Gave a dance and with the Boys and Girls Club kids and everything too. So it was really funny. It was good. It was a great dinner, great event. My wife now is the chief operating officer of Boys and Girls Club of Wayne County. Just a recent position in the last couple of weeks that she took after leaving campus. She was here as the director of campus life for 18 years and took that job and really believes in the mission of the Boys and Girls Club, which is an awesome mission, and they do some great work. And both of my sons are fortunate to be a part of Boys and Girls Club too, and it's a pretty cool thing.
Good deal. I like that.
Any questions, Ramon or Daryl?
No.
Just when we going, fellas, when we going to the games.
Hey, I'm interested, Isaiah. I'm interested in your opinion, since you've been to practices and stuff.
Yeah.
What is? I haven't really asked you. What's your take on what you see so far compared to years past?
I think I really enjoyed last year too, right? But I think the chemistry, we've talked about that a lot in the other sports, especially since I've already done the media days for everybody else, right? I think the teams chemistry wise that I always thought were the strongest was volleyball. I think every year since I've been there, I think nobody's team chemistry had matched what volleyball had the last couple of years. Now, granted, that team graduated like 6 seniors this year, so that group had been together for a long time and they had gelled really well. But it really does feel like with this year's team, and even when talking to Toby, right? And Toby's been there for as long as I have, so he would know better than I would for me just being a spectator. But it does feel like everyone's willing to hold each other accountable. A freshman's willing to tell a senior, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, and just keep each other not in check, but you get what I'm trying to say, holding each other accountable and not it being, man, I'm a senior, you're not going to talk to me like that, anything else. Like, I think some of the best examples of that is at the center position, right, with Terrell and Sean. I think that relationship right there, I think that'll continue to grow as the season progresses. I think the chemistry this year is off the charts compared to the last couple of years. Guys are willing to hold themselves accountable. Everyone's in there working out. Like usually, when I'm up there all day, Mikey always goes in there and gets shots up if the gym's open, right? And I think the extra work's being put in not only by the seniors, if they're able to, because obviously injuries happen, but even the younger guys all the way down to the freshmen. I think you can see the talent, and it's being worked on in practice, right? And I think Bishop, he brought up a good point about Mikey where he's trying to run these sets, whereas in years past, some of these guys would just go into practice, get shots up and think, I'm doing well, but they're not at least trying to execute what's being put out in front of them. So just from seeing a couple of practices and being there, I think the biggest difference for me is just the mental attitude towards this season. These guys want to be competitive, and I think they want to right the wrong from last year and make a run in that conference tournament.
Yeah, I think that's good to hear you notice the chemistry, because that's something we're around it every day, so it's harder for us to pick that stuff out. And I think that it's something that we have really focused on is spending time together off the court. You've got to want to play for each other, and in today's day and age, all the way from from travel ball when they're kids all the way through high school, these kids are playing with constantly different people and doing different things all the time. And it's harder for them to lose themselves in the team. And, and there's a lack of trust and other things. And so it's just very refreshing to see that we have, and that was one of the things is recruiting some of these guys that we asked a lot of questions about of their coaches and of them to try to figure out who was capable of assimilating to that mentality, right? And because that's ultimately going to determine how far you're able to go and how good you're able to get, is if they switch from playing for me to playing for us. I think that's the big thing, and we're still working on that. We got some selfish acts that happen sometimes, but not near as they're not playing that way. They're just selfish acts with how they approach something mentally, I should say, not how they're playing on the court. And that's just some of that, most of that is from the freshmen. And so that's their level of maturity and understanding right now. And it's going to get better as the season goes on. And it's something we're actively talking about. But you mentioned Rel and Sean. Those two battle at each other every day,
every practice.
And it's no exaggeration to say we may have had the worst bigs in the country last year. But the difference that Sean and Rel being together and pushing each other, they don't take it easy on each other. They're going they almost come to blows every day. And then afterwards, they're laughing about it, and they're they're roommates too. So it's like they're inseparable, And so it's like they're just they go at it, they compete hard, but those two have probably grown more than anybody else in our program since summer. And you can see the difference. We couldn't even throw it to Rel last year, but because Sean's out there and he's having to go against it every day, he's improved significantly. Sean's the same way, and both of them are sponges too. So they want to soak everything up, and it's just it's a process, but it's refreshing and fun for us as coaches when we can focus on those types of things, and guys are putting it to work, and you can see that improvement, and you can see them making an effort. Even on film, if they're not doing something right, they're making an effort.
Yes.
You can see they're thinking about it. That's where it becomes fun and becomes enjoyable for everybody. So hopefully we'll put a good product out there this year, and you guys come, we're gonna, it'll be a great game whenever you do it.
No, I'm excited. Daryl, you had a couple questions. I'd like, if you got some questions, go ahead and ask. It's no problem for me.
Well, I want to just kind of piggyback off what you said, Coach, about your two bigs being roommates and how they go at it, right? I'm so happy you said just that, right? Because they're friends off the court, but they are absolutely competitors between those lines, and there's no give, and it's all take, right? So what have you done to kind of empower those two young men? And then how have you seen it spread amongst your lead guards as well, right?
And Daryl, context, one of them's a senior, the other one's a freshman.
That's even better.
Redshirt junior.
Even better.
Redshirt junior.
Even better.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want two freshmen together anyway,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I'm
just to give you a little extra context.
Yeah.
I thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah.
How intentional is that, I guess is what I'm saying.
Intentional
on putting them two together, roommates.
Well, there's 4 of them in a room, so it just happened to work out that way. But they got into it the other day in practice, and Rel was joking about he's going to come home and Sean's going to rip the door off the hinges in his room, and because they were battling. I don't know if you were there that day or not, Isaiah. You would have known if you were.
Yeah. I've been there for a couple instances where it's just like,
Yeah, they get into it. Get into it, and it's those are, when that happens, they're teaching moments, right? Mm-hmm. They're teaching moments on both ends of it. Of course, the 18-year-old is much more likely to lose his cool than the older guy, and so it's a chance to talk about how you need to handle adversity, and you need to handle when people are going to do that to you, especially when these kids come from situations where they probably haven't had anybody that's ever talked to them about that, or if they have, maybe they were too young at the time to actually listen and it sink in. Now it's for real, and we've talked a lot about that. We've talked about not reacting emotionally to everything that happens, and I told them the other day, I said, prisons and cemeteries are filled with a lot of people that reacted emotionally to stuff, and that's a scary thought. We're not going to let you end up that way. We're going to help you grow. And again, that goes back to what we talked about earlier. Are people soft on these guys because they don't want them to leave? If you can't take that type of mentorship in your life, I guess, where people don't want to be talked to honestly about things other than just basketball. In the past couple of years, Isaiah, we've had groups that whenever we talked about things, anything that wasn't directly about basketball, it was like it was painful for them. They didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear anything else. They just want to, how can I get more buckets, coach? That's all they wanted. They didn't want to hear about how to become a better person. They didn't want to learn how to grow as people. And so that was something intentionally we told them in the recruiting process. I said I've got to go back to this because that's what I believe in, and we're going to do it. And if it pains you, don't come here. This is not a good spot for you. But you're going to get more than just basketball. And we try to tell them we're teaching life through basketball. That's our vehicle that we teach it in. And there's a lot of lessons to be had every day for everybody out there, me myself included. I have to, I learn from Bishop sometimes because he's been in the school system. He's been with the middle school kids. He's been with the high school kids that are out there right now, and how you have to deal with them differently and how you have to talk to them differently. He said his mom would always say, hey, you can't talk to them kids in middle school that way. You can't cuss at them. You're going to get fired and everything. And he was like, how many of them have reported me? It was like, because they know that I'm coming from where I'm coming from, and I'm just being real with them. And that's how they talk. And that's what they're going to listen to, and he was like, they know I care about them as people. That's why I can get away with talking to them that way, because that's what means something to them, and it's kind of the, so again, having him there has been beneficial for me too, to get back to that, because I think as I got, you get older and you get more mature and you handle things a little bit differently. Sometimes you got to get back there in the weeds with the young guys and talk to them meet them where they're at, and talk to them where they understand you. And this group is good because I haven't had to lose my mind on them hardly at all. They've responded to the talking. They've responded to the things we've asked them to fix. Again, you see the effort, whether they get it right or not, you see the effort. And that's, as a coach, that's all we can ask for, And so I've been really, really pleasantly surprised and grateful for all that.
Yeah.
Hey,
And I think, well, sorry, I was just going to say, even watching the scrimmages, right? If the play isn't right, you can see there's still the execution there, at least trying to execute it. And I think there's sometimes in the scrimmage where it turns into I'm not going to say backyard ball, but it kind of turns into a bit of freestyling. But I think these last couple scrimmages, now that we're getting closer to the season, you see the plays trying to be executed at a certain level. Would you agree to that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I said, you see the effort. Like in the past, they didn't care. They just did their own thing.
Those first couple weeks, you let them play. I think there was a practice where you let them play like for 70 minutes or something, no breaks, nothing, just let them play. And now we get into the last couple weeks where that if you take that film and you put it to the film that we just watched on Friday, or when they play Friday, it's completely different because they're trying to run those different plays that they've been working on now the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and I mean, we tell them all the time, listen, we're working on some of these sets, and we don't have many of them. Trust me, compared to most places, we've got very few, and what we do have, it ain't rocket science. It's pretty basic. And they are very at first they didn't understand, and they don't like it. And it's natural. It's even more so over the years, these kids get worse about that stuff. I mean, they are so used to being free, or they're so used to being the best player on their team that if something breaks down or something ain't right, they can just go and try to score. Right?
Yeah.
Now it's harder to do that in the college level, because guys are just better, and two, you're not always the best option anymore. You've got a role to play within, and we try to explain to them, listen, we may call 3 sets a game, but when we do, it's for a reason, and it's got to be perfect. Right. And so we have to, right now, we've got to constantly hit it, see all the options, learn to make the different reads, look at every action that we're running within that set as a chance to score, but still get it ran. And if they take us away from it and somebody else cuts through, how to fill their place and still get this ran. And that's why we have to focus on it and just hammer it home. And then once we get that to where we can execute in almost any situation, then we can go back to running, playing the way we really want to play, which is, trying to get defensive stops and taking off. But, if we do that successfully, now we've got a lead going in the last 5 minutes of the game, and we may need to run some sets to just take time, just run the clock. So because we do have some freshmen who are going to be playing a lot, not taking quick shots that they don't need to be taking, but being able to run some time and then creating something, once later in the possession. And so, they just got to learn that. And so that's where we're at as an execution right now. And again, we haven't gotten in depth on it because I don't believe in doing that actually until after we play our first game. Right now it is, we're just kind of giving them the sets to run and letting them kind of figure it out. Because we want to be focused on learning how to win games on the defensive end right now. Because that travels, that doesn't change. You've got to be able to get that stop at the end of a game. Once we get into the season and we start playing games, now we start focusing because practices get shorter because they're more focused on who our opponent is. So we're locked into how to guard a couple of actions or a couple of different sets. So that gives us more time now that we can start breaking down how to manipulate the offense the way we want it. And that also keeps us from peaking in November. We're still going to be growing. Yes, we're getting better defensively. We're going to be, working on that, but it's going to be a little less, and we're going to be able to slowly start ramping up our offensive execution and in perfecting it to where, you hit that second week of January and you're in the conference and you're able to just now go and things start clicking for you. And that's how you peak. But that if you have a game where you're not shooting it well, or the other team's doing something to take you out of your rhythm, you can still go win the game on the defensive end because that's what you did for the first 2 months, And so that's where we are while we do that. Like I said, we execute a lot of stuff right now, but it's, believe it or not, it's with very little instruction compared to what it will be a month and a half from now.
Ramon, I want to get you in on the conversation. Obviously, you're in the thick of your season as well, and and what Hester brought up, right? Buying into that process, everything else. You did a lot in the off season to help your kids and everything else. Can you attest to kind of what Hester has been saying in this interview?
Yep. I'm gonna throw a different hat on. Let me switch it real quick here. All right. I took off my coach's hat and I put on my AD hat. And so I get a chance to see all the different sports. And I think back to something that Kobe Bryant said, seeing players play accidental basketball, right? I'm seeing accidental sports, period. Like everyone, if it's football, off script, if it's accidental basketball, if it's soccer players playing away from what the scheme is, we're seeing so many younger kids just doing what they want to do. You know, for lack of a better term, if you hear on the side of a basketball court, a parent or a fan say, go to work. Like, what's going to work?
Do him.
What play is that? You know, so everyone's kind of like just doing whatever, you know, and I think once they get to program, I think the difference in programs in high school is the coaches who can get those guys to buy in or girls to buy in to what they're selling, to what they're trying to, how they're trying to build their program. And it's frustrating. Also, something that Coach talked about, our kids, and when I say our kids, not just the kids that I coach or the kids that are under our building, but I'm seeing across high school, they can't take any type of criticism or being held accountable from their peers. If a peer tells them, hey, you need to do this, it is time to crash out.
They got to talk back. They got to talk back, don't they? They can't talk back. Take that. And this is from day one. We tell our guys, you better be grateful that your teammate loves you enough to be able to tell you the truth.
Exactly.
Because if they wouldn't be able to do that and they wouldn't do that if they didn't care about you.
And like I said, I think that's one of the biggest thing I notice is being able to hold each other accountable, no matter the grade year.
It is crazy you use those exact words, Coach, because I told a kid the other day, I said, you may not like me, but I'm the one who loves you because I'll tell you the truth. Yeah. And I'll tell you how to correct it also. Mm-hmm. Where other people will just tell you what you want to hear. They don't really like you or love you.
Right. They're not doing people any favors, you know, when they do that. You know, you have to be honest with people, you know, and rather you slap me in the face with the truth and, you know, kiss me with a lie, you know, or whatever that saying is. It's like you got to.
Let me write that down. Hold on, Coach.
Yeah, I like that.
Right. You gotta be honest. And that's why we put everything out there for them. That's why we stat. We're telling you, you know, because basketball is a subjective sport. Yeah. There's not track has a time. You make the time, you know, you're good, right? You win it. It's concrete. That's subjective. Basketball is a subjective sport. And, you know, like I tell my son all the time, you just got to find a coach that loves your game and what you want to do, because it's all different, especially from a point guard perspective. What matters is that fit, right? And, you know, so that's a big part of it is just being honest about each other and what you need from each other when you're out there. And if people didn't think, it's like us, we tell them all the time too, worry if I stop fussing at you, if I stop correcting you, if I start getting on you, that's when you need to worry about, hey, I'm probably never going to play again. Yep. You know, because if I'm on you, it's because I know you're capable of doing better. Toby, we'll use Toby for example, is not going to get on you if he doesn't think you can perform better, right? And I'm on him now because now we have a very comparable backcourt. We've got two guys that are coming at him every single day, and I'm on him about the times when he slacks up from an effort standpoint, and it's like you don't have to save yourself anymore. You gotta go hard, and he does a great job of helping the younger guys and trying to teach them and bring them on. But sometimes you still gotta check him too. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's just part of it. But you know, I kind of forget where we were going with all this because there's so many things now these days that
we call it spitballing, Coach. We just spitballing.
Man, if we could spend we could do a 3-hour a 3-hour broadcast right here of talking about things that are wrong with youth sports and how they're going, which when we get done right here, I need to go shortly. I'm hosting a coaches clinic this afternoon from 2 to 5 for local youth coaches, not for the I emailed the high schools and asked them to send their feeder system coaches here, and I was asked to do this, and I've always kind of wanted to do it. So once I was asked, I thought, hey, I'm going to run with it and do what I want to do. We're not going to my team's not going to be out there and demonstrating things, and we're not going to show a bunch of drills. We're going to sit out there, and I'm going to use the coaches that come to demonstrate stuff themselves.
Yeah.
And we're going to walk them through the things that they want to know. And it's going to teach them exactly what they don't understand about what the high school coach is asking them to teach these kids. Because there's too many of them that think that they're going to get a varsity job based on how the third grade team wins. And if you are coaching youth sports correctly, you're not going to win. That's not what you're after. The kids have to learn to love the game and have a lot of fun, right? And people say, well, winning is fun. Well, also how you approach it with those kids makes it fun. I got a 10-year-old. I know what he thinks is fun. He's so competitive and he hates to lose, but by God, you give him ice cream afterward and he's happy. You know what I mean? He doesn't care about the loss real quick if we can go to Dairy Queen, but they need to focus on the things that are going to make them much more successful when they get older. Younger kids, they got to learn how to pass and catch. They got to learn how to dribble and not over dribble, but take a dribble with purpose. The older ones, they need to start learning how to screen properly. They need to learn how to play off the ball, offensively, defensively. They got to understand that not every single kid is going to play in college and definitely not going to play professionally. So, stop pushing them like that. There's things they have to know before they get into high school so that the high school coach can actually do some X's and O's and refine some of that stuff. So we're going to do that. I'm excited to do it today. It's going to be a really unique format, so I don't know how it's going to go. Let's hope it goes well. And then we got practice after that. So we got, long, crazy day today.
Coach, I got a question. I want to hit this right. You were going to my question anyway, right? I want to know, how early do you start laying the groundwork for kids in IU East basketball? So is it 3rd grade, 5th grade? Talk about that. When does this coach has to start licking his chops?
At a kid?
Yes.
Oh, between junior and senior year, probably.
Okay.
Literally, we don't have, and understand, I don't have the staff to do a lot of stuff with younger. Now, there's kids that we know, obviously, because we've seen them play in high school. And we'll go back to watch them, but we're not going to get involved and talk. Because if I start talking to you, my recruiting might be different than other people. If I start talking to you as a freshman in high school, I'm going to talk to you several times a week for the next 4 years, or until you tell me you're going somewhere else, right? That's just, and so for me to start that early is kind of crazy. Okay. But doesn't mean we won't go watch them. Doesn't mean get to know them, talk to them a little bit, dap them up when we see them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hang around and watch and talk. But when we get heavily involved and we get to that point, it's going to be between their junior and senior year probably.
That's what I was looking for. Looking for. No worries. I can be a part-time support if you need somebody getting out to some food.
I just put you on calling them, man.
I got you, man.
Plus, you don't know who's gonna grow, who's not. You don't know who's going to spend the time getting better, and who's not. There's too many unknowns for us. Our time is so valuable at this level,
right,
that we can't just go out and throw offers around or spend a lot of time on kids that we're not sure. We need to see, hey, we know what we're going to get. Because you're kind of done growing, you're done, now can you help us? How can you help us win games? And then we got to figure out your personality and mental makeup, and all that stuff after that.
Yeah. Awesome stuff, Coach. Before you go, obviously, I want to make the announcement. We will be doing a weekly interview with Coach Hester once the season kicks off. The first game is October 28th. Yeah, okay. I kept getting it flipped with the first game of the NBA. I kept getting them flipped, but yeah, October 28th. We were still debating it. We'll probably start next week. If we don't, it'll start that first week right before the first game of the year. But weekly interview with Coach Hester. It'll be recorded or live, just kind of dependent on what we will do. But it's going to be a fun year.
Ask questions, everybody. If you got Coach is a fountain of information, ask questions in the chat, things that you want to hear us talk about with Coach. Please do that.
Make sure to follow his Instagram. I will also have their YouTube in the description as well. So make sure you subscribe to that. But also really follow the Instagram. Some great stuff being done by my broadcast partner, Corey Hogue. He is driving up there every day, getting film, making content. He is really putting in the work, and I couldn't be more proud of what's going on at IU Reese right now regarding men's basketball. Coach, I know you got to leave here in just a little bit, so I do want to ask you, what are you looking forward to NBA-wise this year? You know, whether that's on the Eastern Conference or Western Conference side of things.
So I threw out a hot take at you the other day when you were here, and you didn't act like I was crazy. So that was
no. I think honestly, the rest Daryl will agree with you as well. I don't know if Ramon will, but we'll see.
So, I mean, obviously, I want the Pacers to do well. I think they are going to do well. I've watched a couple of their preseason games. I think they are going to do well. However, I think their ceiling's a little lower than what it has been.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see them possibly making it to the Eastern Conference semis.
Okay.
You know, I think that could.
We didn't practice this, everybody. We didn't practice this.
No. And again, call me crazy, but my hot take, and some things would have to happen for this to go this way, but I could see the Eastern Conference Finals being Orlando and Detroit.
We have said that before. We said that I think at the end of the year, and I said I'm like that's not crazy to say because I probably said the same thing on this podcast.
Desmond to Orlando, I think, is probably the most underrated move of the offseason. I think that putting him with those guys and getting Suggs back, I just think that's going to be. I mean, Banchero is unreal. And you know, and
man crush on him. Got a man crush.
And the Wagner brothers. I mean, they're going. I think they're going to mature, and it's just going to be one of those years for them. I think Detroit is still pissed about last year in the playoffs. I think they're growing, you know, as a friend in maturity wise, because you have to learn how to win. Back in the 80s, back in the late 80s and early 90s, you saw that build up. Teams would lose in the second round. Then they would get to the finals and lose, to the conference finals and lose. Yeah. And they would battle, and then they would finally get past that team, and then they'd get to the NBA finals and lose, and then they would start winning it. And it was
Detroit,
like
that's Detroit.
That was Detroit back then. Yeah, that was the bad boys. Now I think maybe the process may be a little accelerated now, but I think you're going to kind of see the same thing. I think both teams learned a lot last year, but especially Detroit. And then, way too early for this, but 26, 27, I can see the Pacers being back in full strength and being really dangerous. But, I think by then Boston will be back at strength. I think New York might have a different type of player, a new addition or something like that to help them too. So it'll be a little tougher, but next year in the Eastern Conference, I can see that happen. So I'm looking forward to see if my prediction plays out. That's what I'm looking for.
We'll be chatting up all season. You know that goes.
I know.
No, I'm excited. I'm ready to get going. My hot take is obviously Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. I've been very
a blistering hot take. That's not just a hot take.
I've been super high on them.
That's a little.
I think the one thing that I've kind of sat with, and I've really been thinking about it because it keeps popping up on my social media feed, and it's about Houston. I don't think we're taking into consideration how much Van Vliet's going to actually affect this team because he was their point guard. They got rid of Brooks. They got rid of Green. I think it's not being just when I've seen what people said, I don't think it's not being talked about enough how much they're going to miss Fred Van Vliet. Now, whether that's in the regular season or the playoffs, I don't think it's being taken into account how much that's going to affect them because he was going to be the primary ball handler because Thompson, He's still not the best ball handler. Obviously, KD can handle the ball, but not having that
Don't
point
sleep
guard
on
there.
Shepard, man. You sleep
No,
on
but
Shepard from Kentucky.
Reed's
Yeah,
more of,
Don't sleep on
everybody
him.
forgot
I'm
about
telling
him.
you. This
But-
dude,
Reed's more of a 2, though, is he not?
but
two
listen,
guard?
this NBA isn't
Yeah, that's true.
80s,
That's true.
80s NBA, right? Everybody's bringing the ball up. They're running the sideline break pretty much for the most part anyway, right?
Yeah.
Don't sleep on that kid from Kentucky, man. I got a feeling he's going to have a great season. Think about the players he has around him.
No, that's true. I don't disagree.
He damn near can't
I just
fail.
saw it and I was like, that's not a bad point because Fred was really good in the playoffs this year for him. And obviously, yeah, you get rid of your other 2 guards. Brooks didn't play bad either. We talked about Jalen Green a lot. So
defensively, Brooks on the defensive end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I really do like the Spurs. I like Minnesota still.
Oh, you love the Spurs. Stop it. You love the Spurs.
I do. I can't lie. I do. I think Minnesota's going to be scary too. But Denver's really the team that I'm like, I really like them coming out of the West. Like overall, I really do like Denver. And we talked about it.
Like, man, what the hell is this guy talking about?
Man, he everywhere, man.
I know. The West has me. The West has me. I don't even know. West has me a little frazzled.
Coach, I hate to keep you hostage, Coach, but if you don't get off here soon, you're gonna be here till 3:00.
Yeah, I know.
No, you're all good, Coach.
I gotta get to this up here and get this clinic stuff.
No,
right.
We appreciate you, Coach,
Yes,
big time.
Hey, you're welcome. I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. You guys are great to hang out with.
Yes, sir, Coach. All good.
We'll
Thank you. Thank you for joining us, of course. Daryl, Ramon, great job as always. I do want to get you guys got any final things? Obviously, Daryl, I'll see you later today with the Cross Time show. Ramon, are you joining us for that? Or
I thought you said you were. I thought you said you were.
I want to. Yeah, just send me the link. Whatever.
Okay.
I bet I'm good.
Hey, look, the other thing is, right, and this, I want the people to know, we got business cards now as well, too. We're going to be getting these out. They've got our QR code on the back. So share that information. We're going to be sharing that information. So instead of someone having to look us up, bam, scan that bad boy, like and subscribe, talk about some of the things that you want to hear about. Someone messaged me, said, I can't believe you don't like talking about the polls. Those things grab viewers, right? Someone just said
that's why I always bring them up, though, to be fair.
No, I'm with you. My boy Brandon. I mean, JB. But I get it, right? But for me, we all have our different likes. That's why we want to know what you all like. You're on this. You all on this live as well, too, as contributors who are people that are watching our show. You all are part of this as well too. We want to make sure that we're doing it. We're hitting the topics that people want to hear about. You all don't want to hear us talking about cooking. So unless it's me, because I'm the one on this panel that can cook. But other than that, I mean, we can talk about different things.
I'm glad we didn't talk about. We went an hour and 17 minutes and counting, and we didn't talk about certain people or teams.
Well, let's keep it.
Well, look, I mean,
please.
Hold on. No, I'm not going to bring it up. All I said was, Ramon, I said before we came on, I said, we're going to talk about college football again. So I don't want to oversaturate the viewers to where they don't.
We wasn't talking about college football. He was not just college. I think he was talking about a West.
18 minutes, and we didn't talk about a certain team.
Yeah.
A certain player, a certain coast. Oh man, I love it, man. I love it.
Oh, the Lakers. I've got nothing to say about them. I've got nothing to say about them until opening night. That's all I'm worried about.
Now we haven't talked about two of the three things we could have talked about.
Right. I almost had a dream about the other one last night.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I really don't know what you guys are hinting
at. Good. That's even better. But I tell you, I do want to share this, right? I am so excited about these next group of
interviews,
panelists, and interviews that we're going to have. Obviously, we're in the state of Indiana. We love high school legends here. Our sponsor is a high school legend here in Indianapolis. Another one's coming down the pike. We're going to keep on feeding that, trying to get people engaged in the people we're talking to, and maybe have some questions for those people as well. So lot of good stuff coming down over this next 60 days. The latter part of the regular season in football, and then going into early start of NBA as well.
Yeah, no,
we need to.
I love it.
We need to see if we can get like Coach Day on here or Coach Tressel or
that's your part. That's what you got to bring to the table. Those are your boys.
Yeah, Ramon, let me know. Just let me know. Hey, I got this guy.
We'll have a contest. Who can bring the best guest to the show? That's what we'll do.
I'm up $1 trillion.
How about that?
I'm up $1 trillion.
How about that?
I'm gonna bring my dog. She'll be a great guest. She'll bark on command.
Nah, I want some OH on this show. I want some OH.
But yeah, folks, don't go. Remember, later today, 7:00, we will be live again. We'll be doing a crossover show with Brandon and JB with Crossroads Sports. So if you didn't think we talked about college football enough, we definitely are going to be
whole hour action packed, all college football.
We're going to be talking about it a lot later on today. Appreciate everybody for coming on. Daryl, I actually had one more thing I wanted to talk about with the Pacers, right? Sure. And I want to ask you. Obviously, he's getting a lot of highlights posted about him, right?
Johnny Furby has gotten bigger and stronger.
So what? Yeah, well, I just want to. The more and more I've watched the preseason, and the more and more I look at this roster, I'm really curious what it's going to look like this season. I watched a really good analysis video on Indiana, and I think the biggest problem for them heading into the year was their ability to shoot the three ball. And somebody brought this up, and in that video, he's talking about their ability to shoot the three this year without Halliburton. And I was like, man, they can shoot the three though. But I think what he was basically saying is that Nembhard's a okay 3-point shooter, but we talked about it a little bit. He's a playoff guy. He's not a big regular season guy. We'll see if that changes this year.
He had to be, right? But here's what I will go back to this, right? Talking about 3-point shooting. Well, you lost your 40% 3-point shooter to Milwaukee at 7 foot tall, right?
Yes.
That's gonna affect you. Now, Huff is the pseudo replacement. And yes, you see these video clips of Huff playing in gyms against in the YMCA. That's great. This is the NBA. And I was at the game last night. Huff is going to be a good player. Yes. But he's not that player that everybody is saying they're seeing in the YMCA. We had in our group, Ramon, people had the audacity to say, I see why they let Turner go to get this guy.
No.
Those people are just looking at highlights. That's not what happened.
If you watch the film,
Huff's a good player. You know what he does do though? When he's around the rim, he dunks.
Yes.
I remember last year I complained about that. I think he had 4 dunks last night. He's right around the rim, and he's big. He's bigger in person.
Huff is a good player. Huff is a very strong player. He had minutes in Memphis, but he's never gotten the chance to have real rotational minutes. So I think it's going to be good for him. You've got Isaiah Jackson coming off the bench. I think
Isaiah Jackson's going to be the starting center.
Oh, Huff isn't going to start. Okay, all right. I just kind of threw it. That was a guess off my head. It wasn't.
But what I'm saying is, Huff is a good player, bigger in person. The difference is for him, and I won't do it on this call, but when we get in the NBA, I'll break down the difference between he and Miles and what I've seen in the team up close in person. I'll let the cat out the bag. Johnny Furpy looks real.
Yes,
and he looks bigger in person as well, and is more athletic than he looked last season by far.
Yeah, he looks.
But
good.
I don't want to go crazy down that path right now because I could talk about the Pacers for 5 hours straight. But yeah, we'll hit on that stuff later on this month.
The West does have me a little bamboozled because it's I really like a lot of the teams up in at the top half of the West. It's more of just what do I think come playoff time, right? Because I haven't even talked about OKC, and obviously they're going to be a contender. I really like Denver. They reloaded. I love Denver. Don't got to talk about San Antonio. I think Dallas is definitely my biggest question mark as we get closer to the season, right? Kyrie will be back at some point. Can AD's put on weight? He's going to be wearing glasses the rest of his career as well. So there's a big question there with AD. I'm just curious how he'll be in this, I guess, number one option role. I don't expect a lot from Cooper Flagg. It's his rookie year. I just want to see how he plays. That's about it.
I expect a lot for Cooper Flagg. You know why I do? Because when he played against NBA players 2 summers ago, he pseudo held his own. I granted
He
it
did hold
wasn't
his own,
going
yeah.
crazy, but
Yeah.
I think Cooper Flag is the real deal. And I think him alongside Kyrie and Davis and those guys with,
Bro, he's gonna be.
their coach. I think they're going to be okay. I'm not saying title or anything like that, but as the season goes, I wouldn't be surprised if seeing them get better and better. Especially Kyrie's going to be back, I think, in January.
Yeah,
maybe December, January, like that. And if so, you don't know. He's been looking good in an empty gym. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, very true.
Taylor's been looking good in an empty gym too.
Ramon.
Man, I don't expect a lot out of Cooper Flag. I think he'll be good.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I think he'll be a solid pro, solid career, but yeah, I don't.
You mean you don't think he'll be a superstar?
No, I don't.
Okay, I didn't say that. I just, but
I
mean, a lot of things can happen. And to Ramon's point,
I think
we have to pump our brakes.
I think they'll make him a superstar because I think he'll be very marketable. But I don't think that. I mean, I won't look at him like he at best. And this is not skill wise. This is production wise. He'll be a Jimmy Butler type production wise person. I don't think he's going to be like a megastar.
Without the sassiness though,
and the multiple hairdos and stuff like that,
yeah,
and all that other stuff. Yeah, and out west, my top.
See, I'm forgetting about Golden State. Like, man,
exactly. What's your top 4 teams out west?
Me?
Because this
look at us growing in the NBA, and we talked about this, and we weren't going to talk about. But keep on. Let's listen. There's no time limit here.
Off the top of my head, Ramon, right? I would say I'm going to put Oklahoma City at 1 out of respect. I'm going to put Denver at 2 because I really do like how Denver reloaded this team. At 3, I would probably say San Antonio at 3, and then I would say Houston 4. And I would say Houston at 4 because KD, I think Amen takes another leap. And then really, I'd probably say Minnesota 5 is what I'm sitting on right now is Minnesota 5th. And I think they could jump. I think Minnesota could be 2nd. Dallas is 6.
My issue with Minnesota is the backcourt, man. We talked
about I
this.
think they'll be fine with Dillingham.
Well, you must not have seen him play this preseason. And what I'm saying is there's a reason why the 39-year-old point guard from Lawrence North came back. He had done retired.
Yeah.
You know, I'm telling you, you've talked about this Dillingham, and a lot of people have. I haven't seen it. And when they played the Pacers a week ago,
didn't see it.
His shooting looks bad.
Oof.
I think their opportunity is in the backcourt in Minnesota. I think athletically they're on point. Their bigs are on point. But man, if you had to get a 39-year-old point guard back out of retirement who was a liability on defense, and who isn't nearly as quick as he was when he was in Memphis,
it's an issue. I've probably got Dallas 6. I want to say Golden State 7th, the Lakers 8th, and then the Clippers 9th. Like, that's just off the top of my head without me sitting down and actually thinking about it.
I love the Lakers. Everybody knows I love the Lakers. I'm thinking the Lakers about 5th. Ain't that right, Ramon? We say 5th seed in the West.
Where's the delete button?
But listen,
Luka done lost 20 pounds. Everybody, he's on camera, 20 pounds. He's going to be quicker. He's going to be the coach is in his second year. He's ready to coach. Remember all this?
Whoa, it's the West. It's the West. I'm being realistic.
You got Luka,
I'm being realistic.
Weight. You got
I understand that. Look, listen. All these teams that I just listed, it's going to be separated by 3 games. Laker could be 8th and then 3rd, and then back down to 5th, and then jumped up to 2nd, then back down to 7th.
We're going to do a lottery. Listen, we got to put real money in this year. Us 3.
I got
because we can talk all we want and say, "Oh, I was wrong." No, I want your money to talk. So offline, we're gonna get together and we're gonna put some dead presidents behind some of this. I want to talk about this.
Ramon,
I got Oklahoma. I got Oklahoma at 1.
Yep.
I got Denver at 2.
Okay.
And then my 3, 4, 5, and 6. Those 4 can be interchanged a lot.
Yeah.
I got Minnesota, Golden State, the Clippers, and Houston.
Spurs?
And not any Houston, Minnesota.
Oh, no
Golden
particular
State,
order? Okay.
No particular order.
You said the Clippers really high up. I was like, I don't know about that.
No particular order. in that 4. And I got that bottom 3, the Lakers, Dallas, and San Antonio in no particular order.
Yeah.
I'm not as high on San Antonio as you are.
That's fine.
Look, man, ain't nobody as high on San Antonio as he is.
No, there's definitely
He said they're going to Western Conference Finals.
They are.
Hey, Kyle, it's the San Antonio Falcons.
Man,
No, come on. No, not at all. There's a generation.
Hey, we got to get T-shirts. San
There's
Antonio.
there's a generational talent in San Antonio.
League.
There's not in
You
Atlanta.
pick a team in every league that don't nobody
That's,
else pick.
whoa. You're telling me nobody thinks that's not a possibility?
Well, only you.
I'm not the only one.
You are somebody.
I'm not the only one.
You are somebody.
I'm not the only one. There's
Hey,
no way
man,
I'm not the
I
only
love it,
Scour
man. I love it.
X, scour Instagram, because you're on this much more than we are. Scour that and see if you got some feedback other than San Antonio Spurs fans that are in San Antonio that share your thoughts.
There's got to be someone in
San
mainstream
Antonio
media that
residents
thinks the same
do
way.
not need to apply.
You said they gotta be somebody, huh?
I said there's got to be somebody in mainstream media that thinks that. Because, I mean, you look at how the West has shaken out almost the last couple of years. It's been a different – Minnesota's actually been there 2 years in a row, so that's kind of the one outlier there. But I do think there is a possibility without – me personally, I really want Denver and OKC again in the second round at some point. Like, that was probably my favorite – obviously, other than the Pacers and the Thunder – that was probably my favorite series out of all the NBA playoff series that we got last year. I think Oklahoma and Denver was the one I enjoyed the most. I think behind that's Golden State and Houston. I think the 7-game series was a blast. But I think Oklahoma City and Denver, disregarding the finals, was my favorite series. I'm going to watch those games again very heavily, especially because Denver is a way better team than they were last year.
They can be.
Yeah.
They can be. You know, you lose Porter Jr. He was up and down. You send him to the New Jersey Nets. Russell Westbrook is gone, who he has a guy. No one worked harder than Russell Westbrook, but he's 5 years in a rearview mirror, though.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be real fun to see.
I couldn't even tell you how I want to rank the East, right? Because there's 4. It's New York, Cleveland, Detroit, Orlando. After that, I mean, take your pick. If Philly's healthy, they could be up there.
You said if Philly's healthy. When has Philly been healthy?
I know, like I said, if, and that if is like,
and they're not younger, they're older now.
Yeah.
I saw a stat. Paul George played, I think, 20 some odd games last year, and he had 39 podcast shows.
I'm just not worried.
He's podcasting more than he's playing.
I'm not worried about Philly.
He's a used car salesman. He sold Philadelphia on a bill of goods. He sucked them to a 5-year deal. Good for them. I think that determined the fact that they're going to be where they are.
The more I've sat with it, I think Milwaukee could. I mean, if they can just get to the playoffs, then it's scary. If they make the playoffs, then it becomes scary. I think Milwaukee would be a dark horse.
Question too.
Huh?
They got questions in their backcourt.
I think Milwaukee can be scary. They just got to make the playoffs. And Giannis, I mean, I'm going to take the over on him every time I bet. So health.
Yeah. Got to be healthy. Especially now, these teams, the competitiveness is so much tighter now. Look at the Pacers last season. As the end of the season, they were healthy. Latter part of the year.
We made a top 10 point guards list the day of the game 7, and then that list couldn't even get uploaded because Tyrese tore his Achilles. You remember that? We got on here.
I remember.
Still,
because I had Maxey really high, and y'all blasted me.
And we couldn't post it because Tyrese tore his Achilles and it ruined everybody's list.
But it's going to be you know what? I'm not in love with the NBA. I never have been. Yeah, I love the Pacers, but not loving the NBA. I'm changing a little bit of that. I'm going to watch probably more NBA this year, non-Pacer games. I can't promise I'm going to watch a full NBA game that doesn't include the Pacers. I can't promise that. But I'm going to watch more NBA this year probably than I have in probably the last 20 years.
And you know what? I would say that
because it's so competitive. It's tight.
Yeah.
I just wish they slow down on the flopping. If they call the flopping like they say they're going to, I might learn to love the NBA again.
I would say I'm that way with football right now. I think this pod has helped me sit down and just watch football and enjoy it. Obviously, for me, it was like, Cowboys suck. I'm not watching the rest of the season until playoffs. So But I think I've had the chance to
say it, Ramon. Say
I've
it.
had the chance just to go ahead.
Way too easy, man. Way too easy.
But I think doing the pod, it's given me a chance to enjoy some other teams and just kind of put Dallas on the back burner. And in NBA, it doesn't matter how well the Lakers are doing. I can watch the NBA and enjoy it for what it is because basketball is just my sport. So I'm excited for it. I love what we're doing on the pod. We've got a lot of guests coming soon. Final remarks, gentlemen, before we get out of here and we go watch some NFL football.
Yeah, I got a final remark, man. The Jets are terrible.
0-6.
Like, terrible.
Yikes.
Man, my man Jay Fields just threw the ball for 45 yards in the whole NFL game.
You know, I'm so glad I put him on the bench in my big money league this week.
Mendoza, you will be a New York Jet.
Fellas, he was sacked 9 times.
Yeah. Mendoza,
9 times.
That's an athletic guy. That's a guy that can move. He's not a statue.
Mendoza's off to New York, y'all.
Something ain't right. I think the Jets got a hex or something, man. Whoever goes, it just you think, they're going to be okay. You get a young coach come in who played DB for you, who played really good DB for you.
You got to read
check this out. He threw for 45 yards. He sacked 9 times, and they lost by what? 2 points.
13-11. That is the weirdest score a football game could get.
Well, listen, how about this? This is another thing I want to hit on real quick. These games in Europe are terrible. They are terrible. The fields are terrible.
Absolutely.
The fake fans in the stands are terrible. I don't know what they do because I haven't been over there. All those people aren't Jets fans. You ain't no damn way you have that many Jet fans in one stadium that's not in MetLife. Did you see the picture of the rapper they showed up? He had a shirt on, and then the lady behind him had a Tupac T-shirt on. The European lady. It's a mark. It's a mark, man. I can't stand NFL in Europe. It's terrible. The game start. Think about if you're on the West Coast. It's a 6:30 a.m. game on the West Coast. All the whistling and the fake crowd noise. It's a terrible thing, NFL. Yes, it's money for you all, but those of us who understand football and know it's a terrible product. It's absolutely terrible.
I think Anthony.
Man, I'm watching some of the highlights, man.
Terrible.
Oh my God! Like, you got people just not blocking. Period. Just like coming off the edge, flying, crushing fields.
I think AR's traded.
It ain't real, man. It's like it's fake.
I think AR gets traded this week or next week.
No, let's stay on NFL Europe. I think it's this phony play. I mean, I want people to chime in about that too. The fake whistling, there's generated crowd noise from those speakers they got there. Is anybody else disgusted by this other than me? Like they're out there watching us. This is terrible football. 13-11. Minnesota Cleveland game was no better 2 weeks ago.
Bo Nix, who can play, had 174 yards.
The soccer field that they're playing on, the turf is different than the football field, the American football field.
Yeah,
it's bad. It's bad. It is bad. I'm off for my rant right now. It's bad. I hate it.
There you go, Daryl's 2-minute rant. I'm gonna have to make a graphic for him. But I think AR may get traded. We'll see. He was
for what? How?
He was labeled inactive today.
How can he get traded? No, listen, he lost his job to Daniel Jones. He's done nothing as a professional football player but be injured and throw for 50% completion rate. No one's going to trade for that.
Sean McVay can fix him. Like I said, Sean McVay will fix him. Sean McVay.
He's talking about the Rams. He's been talking about this for the last month and a half, man.
I'd trade him to the Rams. That'll fix him. Stafford's going to retire here soon. You might as well.
Yeah, he'll retire. But don't forget, you've got your boy there, Stetson Bennett, man.
That is not my boy. About? That is not my boy. No, it is not.
Listen, AR-15 does need a new place to be, which is true. But I don't think it's going to go through trade. I think it's at the end of the season, the coach probably waive him.
Okay. Yeah.
If Daniel Jones continues on his trajectory as what he's playing this year.
Have you read any of this thing about why he's out?
I didn't even know he was out.
He injured his eye or something.
Yeah, they say he hurt his eye stretching with the band.
So you see what I'm saying? How can he get traded when he gets hurt when he's not even playing?
Yikes, man.
I think he gets waived at the end of the season because this is year 3, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And Ramon, I said this to Daryl when we were talking about mock drafts.
Talk about before you start that.
Ramon, I meant Ramon.
2 people for the Colts who were injured doing warm-ups.
Travarius Ward ran into a Cardinals tight end. He hurt his knee or something. So Colts are not, the football gods are not with Indianapolis today. Ramon, I was saying this to Daryl, I think it was on Thursday or whenever we last recorded. I was like, you look at AR and how high he got drafted, and you look at Lenore Sellers, who's eligible to enter the draft this year. Like, Lenoris is a better thrower. I'm not going to say as athletic, but he's very athletic. Like, you know, you look at how high the Colts took AR with how many games he played in college. Like, Lenoris got
an incompetent general manager, though.
Lenoris probably has a higher ceiling than AR, and he's probably only going to he probably won't even go first round. Lenore, maybe. We'll see.
I think that AR kind of changed how people want to look at potential talent.
Development of quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's kind of like, now if AR would have played well these 2-3 years, whatever it was, this guy would have been drafted out of South Carolina, right?
Yeah.
He had been drafted really high because it was like,
okay, good too, man. He was good.
Saw the blueprint, but now that we've seen it don't work.
Yeah.
Hey, did y'all see any of the LSU South Carolina game yesterday?
Yeah.
He's fast, man.
I love Lenoris Sellers. I love Lenoris Sellers.
He's lean and AR-15 always kind of bulky, big. Lenoris Sellers is big but lean, but he's fast. He pulled away from those DBs last night multiple times. I'm not saying you know someone needs to take a flyer on him depending on where it's at, but he looks to me in the short time I've seen him play versus AR and when he was in Florida, he just looks better.
Yeah.
If you just take their body of work in college only, don't take any NFL from AR-15. I just think he looks better.
Yeah,
more confident. He was a track guy, if I remember right, in high school as well too.
I don't know, but yeah, Lenoris looks great. Yeah. Folks, we'll be back at 7:00. We will be with JB and Brandon. We're going to be talking some.
And we'll be in the kennel. We'll clearly be in the kennel. Isaiah's going to bring his dog kennel to the party.
Since he wants some spotlight, there he is right there.
What up, dog?
There he is.
What up, dog?
There it is. Since he wants some spotlight, there's his spotlight of the day. So that's all it is, folks, right there.
Welcome to Dog Talk, everybody.
Yeah, that's Apollo. So thanks for Apollo. He was actually in here the whole show, but he said it's time to get done with that. So we're gonna go ahead and head downstairs. All right, you gotta let me get the outro done at least. But that's gonna do it. We'll be back at 7:00 for the Cross Time podcast show. It's gonna be fun. It'll be me and Daryl Ramon. Hopefully you can make it. But folks, that's gonna do it. We'll be back for more right here on the Game Time Podcast.